Whereas one week previously, there was also an initial creation, or an initial emanation, which is 7 days of the world of Tohu. The world of Tohu is the world of the void. It broke, Shivat HaKelim. And then follows the second week, beginning from Kafei Elul, to rectify make the initial great rectification from Hashem's part. First, Hashem rectified the majority of all of the broken vessels of the world of Tohu. And what remains is the responsibility of us, our responsibility, Jewish souls, throughout all of history, until the coming of the Mashiach, to complete the rectification that HaKadosh Baruch Hu began on the 25th day of Elul. There's also hinted at in Chazal that say another very important thing happened in Elul, the 24th day of Elul, which is 1 day before the rectification. That day before the rectification is the Malchut, the 7th day of the breaking of the vessels. And on that day, the 24th of Elul, that's the day, according to Chazal, that the sin of David and Bathsheba took place. Immediately afterwards, David HaMelech began to do great tshuva. Of course, the sin is not the sin as it appears to be, according to the Pshat of the Tanakh. As Chazal says, whoever says that David's sin is mistaken. Nonetheless, from the level of David's soul, it was certainly considered to be a very great sin. And he was punished for it. For half a year he was a leper. And then all of the bad things that happened to him in the continuation of his life with his son Shalom and so forth, all of the tragedy that took place was all according to Chazal because of the sin. And the beginning of his tshuva was immediately the day after, when Natan Navi came and told him the parable that's written in the Tanakh. And the complete tshuva was only on Yom Kippur, which was 3 weeks, 15 days, the beginning of the 3rd week afterwards. There are 2 great forgivenesses that took place on Yom Kippur. First, the forgiveness for Chet HaEgel, the sin of the golden calf, which is the greatest sin of Am Yisrael as a whole. And in particular, the forgiveness of the sin of David and Bathsheba, which is also the greatest sin of one Jew who is all-inclusive of all of the souls of Israel. Shema Khalid, David Malka Mashiach, David HaMelech, who is the soul of the Mashiach. As I'll say that the relation between these 2 sins is that neither of them were merited, neither of them were the people, nor David HaMelech, worthy of sinning. לא היה ראוי אותו דור, לא היה ראוי דוד אותו חטא. But Hashem, through His hidden providence, caused the sin to happen in order to teach the people as a whole, in order to teach each and every individual in the people that ein davar omed b'fnei tshuva, there's nothing that stands in the face of tshuva. The first sin of the golden calf was in order to teach us that to teach tshuva, the possibility of always doing tshuva to the Rabim, to the Klal Yisrael. No matter what Klal Yisrael does wrong, Hashem's right hand is always outstretched to receive us b'tshuva shlema. And the same thing in relation to David HaMelech, it says that David was not Raui, was not worthy for that sin, just in order to teach the Olot tshuva li'achid. Teach the possibility of tshuva for every yachid, for every individual. And also, no matter what the individual does, ein davar omed b'fnei tshuva. Nothing stands in the face of tshuva. It's always possible to do tshuva. These 2 greatest sins, the greatest sin of the whole people, and the greatest sin upon individual, were milachatchila, from the very first moment. The whole providence, the whole hashgacha pratit involved in these sins was in order to teach the possibility of doing tshuva. And in every case. So that the sin, the first sin of the calf actually did not take place in Elul. The sin didn't take place in Elul. The sin took place in Tammuz. But the sin of David HaMelech, David and Bathsheba, which is very similar to the holiness, the Kedushah of Kodesh Elul, which is Anida Dodi V'Dodi Li. That Bathsheba was the mate soul of David HaMelech from the 6 days of creation. Yisheshet Yemei Breshit is also very deep in. Just said that he didn't wait. The sin was that he didn't wait until she would come to him in a permissible fashion. And actually from the date that Chazal teaches, even though this isn't stated explicitly, from the date we see that if he would wait one more day, it would have already been the 7 days of rectification. And the sin took place one day before the creation, so that she was worthy to him from the creation on. The creation took place, and the creation of rectification took place one day after the sin. And that the day of the sin of Daled Elul is the Malchut, the 7 days of the week of the 7 Sfirot, from Pesach or from Dat, until Malchut. And the sin took place on the last day, which is Malchut of Tov. And had he waited one more day, it would have already been the day of the mate. As in reference to Adam HaRishon, the initial sin of Adam HaRishon, it says that had he waited 3 hours until Shabbat, it would have already been permissible to eat from the tree of knowledge, the Inner.org. In general, from all of this we learned that in general, this is also the case as far as Chet HaEgel is concerned. That had they waited another day, Moshe Rabbeinu would have descended from the mountain. So we see that in general, all sin is not being able to wait. The lack of patience, the lack of Kabbalah, or the lack of Erech HaPayim. Erech HaPayim, which means patience, the long breath, the ability to take a long breath in faith. The Erech HaPayim. Pshat of Erech HaPayim, Erech HaPayim literally means a long nose. But the Ibn already explained what Pshat. It means long breath. Long breath is the ability to control wrath, control anger. Just as it's the ability to control anger, it's also the ability to wait. It's the ability to hold on and to have patience and faith until what has to come comes. Lo nifchot et hashar. In relation to Mashiach also, it says Mashiach can't press the hour. You can't make it happen before the moment comes. All sin, all deep sin, especially coming from a holy soul, is because the soul senses its destiny. It senses something good. If that something good is its own destiny, which is related to itself. It doesn't have the patience to wait until that destiny comes in a state of rectification, of the world of rectification, which takes place on the 25th of Elul. So this was all, by the way, to explain that according to the Arizal, the 25th of Elul on begins the 7 days of rectification. Whereas the 7 days of the breaking of the vessels preceded the 7 days of rectification and are the 7 days from Chai Elul until Kaf Daled Elul. Those are the 7 days of the world of Tov. Which now, of course, we have to rectify. You know, the Baal Shem Tov and the Rebbe Admor Hashem were both born on the same day, Chai Elul. According to the first day is called the beginning of the breaking of the vessels, the breaking of the first vessel, which is God. God means self-consciousness, feeling oneself, instead of being connected and feeling HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the birth date, the two great Morot HaGdolim, the two great lights, the Baal Shem Tov and the Alter Rebbe, both took place on the same day, which according to the Rizal, the beginning, the first day of Tov, meaning that those souls descended into this world to rectify from the origin, from the source, the initial breaking of the vessels, which is the breaking of the vessel of Da'at that took place on the day of Chai Elul, according to the Arizal. You know that Chai means Chayus, means to re-enliven. This is the Baal Shem himself said that the whole purpose of the descent of his soul into this world was to blow the breath of life into the service of Elul, into the service of Tshuva, return which takes place in this month of Elul. I mean, explicitly, the Baal Shem said that Chai is Lashon Chayut. It means to blow the breath of life into something that was on the verge of collapse, on the verge of death. This is also hinting at the Tikkun, according to Arizal, that the original breaking of the vessels, which is called death, took place on this day, which is Chai Elul. The first death, the first king was called Da'at. Once more, that means in the soul, self-consciousness. And the re-enlivening of the rectification of that, not in the world of rectification. The world of rectification, according to Kabbalah Hasidut, is only rectifying a certain limited part of the light, or Rot Mu'atim. Doesn't call all of the light that ascended and disappeared after the vessel was broken. It doesn't call all of that light back into the vessel. One day before the beginning of the rectification, it's hinted at in the Mamar Chazal that Sheva was Ra'ui to David HaMelech from the 7 days the Sheshet he made from the 6 days of creation. And actually the sin took place 1 day before the 6 days of creation. Because we didn't wait. Sha'chala Chag, that's the notion of Chazal. So we eat a fruit and it's not yet ripe. That was the sin of David Batsheva, because really she was his Batsu, his mate. He didn't wait 1 day, similar to Eitzadah, he didn't wait 3 hours, and similar to the Chet HaEgel. He didn't wait 1 day until Moshe Rabbeinu should descend from the mountain, from Sinai. And we explained that the beginning of the 7 days of Tohu is Chayil. That's the first king that died, called Bela ben Beor, Vayimloch Vayamot. And the significance, according to that, of the birth of the Baal Shem HaKodesh, and the Alter Rebbe on the day of Chai Elul, is to be Machaya, to bring back life to that original king, and thereby re-enliven the whole world of Torah in its origin, even more than the 7 days of rectification. This is where we left off. The 7 days of rectification are only orot mu'atim, a small amount of light, in relation to all of the light that disappeared from when the world of Tohu broke apart. Whereas to bring life back in that very same day itself, the day of Chai Elul, which is the first day of the breaking of the vessels, according to the Arizal, that's bringing back all of the Orot Merubim, all of the great infinite lights of Tohu, and even more, as explained in Hasidut. So So Ad Kan until here is hinted at in the writings of the Arizal. He says that there are 7 days before Kafei, and there's a Kohen Chazal, the world is created on the 25th of Elul. But the real hint is that there's another week previously that's the world of Tov. So if we go on to meditate in this way, since the month of Elul has to do with creation, one of the ways that we explain what Chazal say, what is customary, that this is the month of mercy. This month is the month of mercy. Chodesh HaRachamim. The simple pshat of mercy is that we explained before, that the revelation of the 13 principles of mercy, and it will arouse us to the tshuva. And also mercy has to do with creation. It says that the originally HaKadosh Baruch Hu thought to allow the machshava to create the world with din, with severe judgment. But when he saw that the world couldn't exist with din, he put together with the din midat rachamim the moda midat din, and preceded rachamim before din, thereby sweetening the din itself. But hamtakat din, by placing the rachamim before the din itself becomes transformed into sweet din emet la'amito. This is all the secret of creation itself. So if the whole month of Elul is called the month of mercy, besides the fact that it has to do with the mercy, which is not beside it, or understand deeply, we have to understand it's one and the same thing. In addition to the simple pshat that's always brought in Chassidut, that the mercy is to arouse the soul to tshuva, the mercy is also the secret of creation, the whole month. So this whole month of Elul is the month of creation. I mean, the part of doing tshuva is becoming a shutaf, just like Chazal say, a shutaf, a partner with HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the act of creation. So actually, the simple pshat is, and this is the Ikar tshuva. The first, when Adam HaRishon was created, the first mitzvah that he was given was puravu, to reproduce, which is to recreate. And this mitzvah is called mitzvah rabbah in Chazal, it's an infinite mitzvah. That was the mitzvah was given on the very first day of this creation. So on Pipshat we see that this was also the tshuva, explained in several Sifrei Chassidut. The part of the tshuva of Adam HaRishon, which is to bring the Mashiach, that the Mashiach doesn't come until all the souls are born into this world. And one of the greatest acts of tshuva, which is rectifying the initial sin of Adam HaRishon, is reproduction of Pipshat, Puravu, which is becoming of Pipshat, a partner with HaKadosh Baruch Hu in creation. One of the deep things is when a person does a sin, the deep effect of a sin is losing his power of creation. It's called Pigam Bris. The deepest effect of sin, the deepest significance of sin, is blemishing, a Pigam, blemishing, and losing one's power of creation. One's power of creation is one's own property of mercy. Once more, the deep secret of creation itself is mercy, rachamim. The deepest negative effect of sin is blemishing one's own mercy, and thereby blemishing one's power of creation. And the tikkun, the rectification, of the tshuva, this whole month from the beginning to the end, and including the Aseret Yemei Tshuva until Yom Kippur, is all connecting oneself to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and especially to HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mercy, principle of mercy, and thereby receiving in oneself the power of creation. That's what Hashem is doing this whole month. In order to develop this thought, we began to explain that even though our Pipshat has also the creation just took place from Kafei Elul, but really the Arizal says a week previously. We know that when we learn that Ad Kan is written with Tegush. And if we'll now go on to meditate, we can try to expand this, and to extend this thought to include the whole month of Elul. The whole month of Elul, from Aleph Elul on, is all the process of creation. In order to do this, we also have to use the writings of the Arizal, even though it's not stated explicitly. But if the Arizal says that there was 1 week from Kalpei of Elul on of Olam HaTikun, which is called Olam HaTzilut or Olam HaPudim, now I'll mention some terminology in Kabbalah which not everyone might not recognize, but it's not directly important for us. There's 1 week from Kalpei of Elul on, which is the Olam HaTikun. Then there's a week previously, which is Olam HaTov. So if we'll extend the same idea, what comes according to the Arizal before the Olam HaTov is another world called Akudim. In the world of Akudim, all of the 10 Sfirot are contained within 1 vessel. In Chassidut, there are several ma'amarim of the Rebbeim that say that this is the mitzvah of Ahavat Yisrael. The consciousness that all Am Yisrael are together, like on Sukkot, Ru'im Kol Yisrael Eshev Yisukah Achat. So all the souls are together in 1 vessel. So the Tzemach Tzedek and the Alter Rebbe himself explains in several ma'amarim and Chassidut. In any event, the world which precedes the world that broke, is the world that precedes the world that broke. That's called Akudim, and it's a state of, it's not yet a developed, it's not a mature state, it's a premature state. The maturity is when there are a multitude of vessels to contain a multitude of lights, each light revealing itself in its own shade, its own color. Whereas when there is just 1 vessel to contain all of the lights cannot reveal themselves independently. So even though it's a very, very high level, it's still a premature level. It's not the Tachlit HaKavanah of Biyat Olam. But there is this world which is called Olam HaKudim, which precedes Olam HaMekudim that broke. Olam HaMekudim was that each light already had its own vessel, but the individual vessels were very small and premature and underdeveloped, and they broke. The pressure of the light was so strong that it broke the vessels. Whereas in the world that preceded that, there was just 1 vessel that contained all of the lights. That's called Olam HaKudim. Now what preceded that? Preceded that is the original state that follows the initial tzimtzum, the initial contraction of the infinite light itself, which is the beginning, the very first moment of creation, according to the Arizal's tzimtzum harishon. As soon as there's tzimtzum harishon, a ray of infinite light permeates and penetrates into the void that was caused by the tzimtzum, and immediately begins to emanate 10 circles of light, and there afterwards, or immediately afterwards, as it were, a partzuf, a shur kumah form, which is called Adam Kadmon, the primordial state of man, even before these 3 worlds which are called Akudim, Nikudim, Kudim. So if we'll go back in time this way, this is obviously hinted at by the Arizal, even though it's not stated explicitly. If the Arizal says that from Chai Elul until the Kaf Daled Elul is the world of Nikudim, which is the world of Tov that broke. So if we'll do the same thing and go back 1 week and give 1 week for Akudim, so we'll see that Akudim takes place from Yud Aleph Elul until Yud Zayin Elul inclusively. And then if we'll go back another week, the week is always the 7 lower spirot of the given world. And the Arizal himself says that in the last sphira, in the malchut of the previous world, is included the gar, the higher 3 sphirot of the world to come. And so the Arizal says that, for instance, on Kaf Dalet Elul, which is the malchut of Tov, of Nikudim, in that very day shines the gar, the Keter Chokhmah Binah of Yerudim, which is the world of Tikkun. So that's why we're counting.
What is a gar?
There are the 3 first people. Gar Gimel Rishon. And once more, if we go back in this way, then we come now, if we're going backwards, we reach Yud Elul, we get another week for Ak, for Adam Kadmon. So we'll see then that Ak is from the 4th day of Elul until Yud Elul. And what's left over is 3 days. Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Elul. If we'll meditate in this way, so we have now that formed the whole meditation for this month of Elul, and this is all to try to understand what the today is all about. And in Hasidus to, first of all, try to understand the meaning of the day that we're now in. And that's what motivated this whole discussion up until now, that we'll be able to understand what today is according to this system. So we have first 3 days of Elul, Aleph, Bet, Gimel of Elul, which those 3 days are revealed, the Gar, the first 3 Sfirot of Ak. It's called Machshvat Ma'avak, Keter Chokhmah Bin Avak. Or even higher, they could be Gar, Livnei HaTzimtzum. Many levels, the ultimate Gar, the ultimate level of the 3 initial Sfirot, which are not explicitly mentioned in the weeks that follow. The first 3 days, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Elul, which hint at the Gar of all of the levels, from Ak and above into the Or Ein Sof, all involved in the beginning of the process of creation. And then there are 4 weeks of 7 days, from Dalet to Yud, are the Midot, which are called the Zat, Zayin Tachtonot, the Midot, the Vat, and then from Yud Aleph until Yud Zayin, the Midot of Akudim, and then from Yud Chet, from Pai Elul, until Kaf Daled Elul, the Midot of Nikudim, Olam Ato, and then Al Bipshat, what Chazal say, and from Kaf Pei Elul until the 2nd day of Rosh Hashanah, the 1st day of Rosh Hashanah, and the 2nd day is Shabbat Breshit, the original day of Shabbat. That's the week of rectification, of Tikkun. And the whole history of the world from that day on until the present day is to complete the rectification that HaKadosh Baruch Hu began himself on Taf Hei Be'Elul. And our tafkir is to complete that rectification. Now, according to that, it comes out that today is already Or Chet Elul. We've now begun the 8th day of Elul, which, if we'll count the Zat, the 7 Lord Sfirot Peseder, it means that today is the Hod of Ak. It's the majesty and also the acknowledgement of this initial state of man, which is called Adam Kadmon, which is the first thing that appears after the contraction of the infinite light. Now, this level, the Arizal says that there are just lights without vessels at all. Once more, the respective states of creation are as follows. First, there's a state of limited lights that don't yet possess vessels at all. That's called Adam Kadmon. Then there's a state that all of the lights are in one vessel. That's Akudim. And there's a state that each light has its own vessel, but the vessels are small and they break because the light is too strong. And then there's the state of Ribui Kedim, of a multitude of vessels that initially hold only a small part of the light. That's the rule of rectification. And the whole state of creation is to develop vessels from an initial state that there are not yet any revealed vessels. Now, as far as Hod is concerned, or to say of Hod, we'll just say one word. In Chassidut, in general, Hod refers to thanksgiving, or to acknowledgement, Hodayah. Whereas we know that Al Pshat, the original meaning of Hod, in all of the Sifrei Kabbalah, is Hod Ba'adar, which means majesty, glory, splendor, the splendor of the king. The basic difference between these two interpretations of the word Hod, whether it means splendor and majesty, Hod Malchut, Hod is the one sphira that goes together with the last sphira of Malchut. Except Keter, Malchut, and the two expressions in Tanakh. Two sphirot in Tanakh that are juxtaposed to the word Malchut. Keter Malchut and Hod Malchut. Keter is the crown, and Hod is the splendor of the king. So it's very clear that the Hod which is Shayach Ta'ak, Shayach Ta'adam Kadmon, the Hod which is related to the day, is that Hod which does not yet have a vessel. Thanksgiving, the act of thanksgiving, of acknowledgement and recognition of good, that's a kli. That itself is the basic kli to receive. Of all kelim, the basic vessel to be able to receive life is the ability to continuously thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for that which one receives. So Hod as a vessel, as a spirah, which is basically rectified by possessing a vessel, is Hod that means thanksgiving. Whereas Hod, the Hod of today, which is the Hod of Ak, which is Hod without a vessel, just the light itself, that's the Hod which means majesty, the majesty of the king. The Hod Malchut is, obviously for us, it means that the splendor and the majesty of Melech HaMashiach that we're waiting for. The king of the Mashiach, his glory and majesty, his light will shine out and capture the whole world. The whole world will be captured by the Hod of the Mashiach. Captured means that they will all come to acknowledge, behold, the light which will spread from the face and the countenance of the Mashiach will itself cause the whole world to acknowledge the truth of the Mashiach and what the Mashiach teaches, which is the Torah, Torah Hashem Kimah, and the Yehud, the ultimate Yehud of Am Yisrael. This is the first thing that we can have in mind for this evening, what the day is about. According to this, the basic idea of this, let's summarize, the basic idea is that the whole month of Elul, which is the month of Tshuva, a month of returning to Hashem, which is aroused above by the mercy of Hashem. But the ultimate returning to Hashem is to oneself receive this midah, this attribute of mercy, which is the attribute that Hashem uses in creating the world, the youth of the creation of the world. And this month itself, the rectification is to become a partner with Hashem in creating the world through mercy. Meaning that the effect of sin is the blemish of mercy, and the rectification of sin is the mercy itself, which makes one able to create. And then we went on to meditate that we can see this whole month of Elul, from the very first day until the second day of Rosh Hashanah, as the whole story of creation, according to the Arizal. And it is hinted at in the writings of the Rizal in relation to the week before the story of creation that Chazal teaches. And by extending that thought that the Rizal says, we can understand that this whole month of Elul is the month of creation, which is the month of mercy. And then we went on to think, what is the meaning of today, according to that? So we came out that today is the Hod, the majesty of Adam Kadmon, which is the Hod in the state of light. And this is the light of the king. The Hod is the light the king radiates. That light which the king radiates to his people is called Hod. You know that Adam, according to the Arizal, Adam is Adam David Mashiach, the initial letters of Adam. Adam Kadmon is the primordial man, the primordial soul of Adam David Mashiach. And that today is the day of connecting to the majesty, which is that light that the Mashiach radiates to his people.
Everybody should just, in a certain way, say what they're doing. So then, when young people come and ask, where should I go? That everybody should know clearly where they belong to. You know, in some, it's such a special thing. You come in Shabbos, you remember our Torah, there were only two rabbis who said it openly. You come to Shabbos for Shabbos. He would say to them, listen, you're not from my Shorosh Neshama. Don't waste your time here. Go to another rabbi. But the Sandra wouldn't most of the time not say where to go. Just say, not by me. The Heilige Commander would mamish say, you have to go to the child, you have to go to Sand, you have to go to Stret. He would mamish say directly who's your Shorosh Neshama. There's so many young people running around, so many young people are heartbroken because they didn't find what they need. And let's say, all those people who are teaching Torah today would get together and mamish say in a few words, one to the other, mamish b'simcha. But say, nobody's taking away anybody else's, you know? What's he doing?
He invited all the people from all the
Yeah.
Invited all the people from all the issues.
Yeah.
First of all, put out a book describing all the issues.
Yeah.
Which is lined up for every person. And describes the union of each issue like about itself. Of course, there are other issues. So most all of the issues are kind of all of the knowledge shooters, all of the issues to make a public printing. To make
But they don't want to sit in bed, they didn't invite me, you know? Should be long and happy. Hey, I'm the Lord of Yishkin, we're going like Chashav, you know? It means the other way around, the Goyim have their God with me, the Yidden have Yishkin. Like he said, it's the night of a Goy, which can night of Yehudi, yeah? Okay, someday, we'll have to make it like in the fire and buy me the designers. Yitzchak, you know what keeps me going? Sometimes, you know, I think I told you something. One time I was mamish so sad, you know, so much shit was going on. Gewalt, you know. When they were still sleeping in their diapers, I was already doing what they're doing. So when I was sitting in the coffee shop in Petah Tikva, I was mamish sad, you know. Suddenly, an alter Yid comes up to me, and he says to me, I see you're sad. I want you to know, in a few years from now, everybody will do it exactly the way you're doing it. And I'm blessed if they're quite the way they will do it. Not that I'm doing it right, but at least I know I'm doing it wrong, you know. I always, everything I say is maybe, you know. Heilige said the girls maybe. It's like about 5 of them together, you know. I remember now that my father in Vienna, Mamish had the privilege. My father was a very big Kapitchner, the Chutz, as much as was a Yekid, but he was Mamish very close to Kapitchner. And because of Kapitchner, he was already invited for all this, let's suppose it's a Gerber Mitzvah or Chasna. My father was invited, and my father was like here in Vienna, and like my father was in Baden-Württemberg, it's like an island of New York. Like the rich people of Vienna would live in Baden, have a villa for the summer. So I remember my father told me a lot of times he saw the Tzaddiker and also the brother, the Nat Rebbe. So he was very Baruch HaKadosh.
Everybody knows that there's some parts of Tziduk, and it says that big people that when they speak, they don't know what they're saying. They're saying Tziduk, and Tziduk is shameless. Some, I don't know if I just asked you a Zudli, if you're in a Chabad or not, it's to be called a Yigushay of Yehuda. It starts from the end, back to the beginning. Yigushay of Yehuda, he told them the union of the maybe of Yehuda was Mashpia on Yesod. So the Buddha is Elul.
No.
Elul is Eisei Shulai.
Wie ist der Jörg? Hat die Jörg gebaut, schon die gebaut.
Das ist verpacken Zeruf ist Shemes. Die Geschichte der Jehuda, die Gordon ist so ein Ulai. Elul ist Eisei Shulai.
Gebaut. Your mom should go and such things gebaut.
Die Targumim on the Torah. Targumim Kudos, and Targumim Yenis, and Targumim Yerushalmi. The first word of Rashis, each Targum said that the everlasting creation. In the first word of the Torah, each Targum said a different thing. Kudos says Bekadmi, Rashis, but it translates Bekadmi. And Yerushalmi is always quoted, Targum Yerushalmi says Bechutma, Bechutma. The one that's never quoted is Targum Yenis. Targum Yenis says, Min Avlo, Torah Elohim. A very unusual Aramaic expression. Min Avlo, Aleph, Vav, Lamed, Aleph. So then the Torah says that that's the way he translates the first word of the Torah, Rashis. Min Avlo. From, Min is from, Avlo, Vav, Lamed, Aleph. So there's a Perush on the Emerson. Avlo means Mitchilah.
You know, say Mitchilah. Yeah, wow.
It said that the Pshat of this is an unusual word. The Pshat of the word is from the beginning. So the word is the same word as the letter, the same word as the letter. So the Pshat there is also from the Ulai, which is coming from what was before. In the word of Torah, the Eretz Modiin Mateo, which is the meaning of Ulai, actually it's on the whole Shayach, one of the Sifas. It's brought into the Mishnah Chassidus story. And of all the Sifas that we say, the highest of all of the Sifas is the Sifas which is Ulai Yerachim. And the Shabbat Chassidus, the Lachim itself, the Torah about Lachim, the Lachim comes from Ulai. But that Ulai, that's what the great, that's what reaches in the Torah Lachim. And after that, usually it doesn't say that Hashem can have Rachman. It's Ulai Rachman, maybe Rachman also. That may be that the Jew says that Ulai, that's what reaches Mikor Harachim V'Chasorim Amitim. That's the expression that used to right now. In Ksetor, in Pittel, to the Rebbe, when we reach the Mikor, the ultimate origin of the Rachim V'Chasorim Amitim, how do you reach that? With Ulai. Ulai Rachim. The word Elul itself is the word of Ulai.
You know, basically it says, Christ is Roshon Technon and Roshon Sofik. Im is auch Roshon, Im Roshon Odom Mashiach, Im is maybe. I was learning once in Berkeley in the good old days. I told the difference in Moshe Rabbeinu is taking us out of Egypt. In Mashiach, Moshe Rabbeinu says, let's go. Take you out. Mashiach says, Im B'chukot, maybe one time.
First of the Ten Commandments, the Spirit brought there to it starts with another from every man. Every posuk has a semen, just like the psukim that a person used for his name at the end of Shemona Esrei. The posuk starts with the first letter of your name and ends with the last letter of your name. This is brought in Rashi in Nach. Every posuk, the first letter and the last letter, that's a very important phenomenon. It's not starting. Nothing in the Torah is starting. This is so significant that even the Rishonim mention it. And every posuk has a semen. But the semen is the first letter and the last letter. So the semen of the first of the Aseret HaTivros is the Imam. Not only that, it says that that commandment itself, Amechi Hashem L'Kecho, has exactly 21 letters. Not only is it the semen, is it the first letter and the last letter. But the very birth itself has exactly in letters to it. The first people is in letters, and the semen is in. And it's all totally the in of the cases. So, nine.
I am the mixer.
I am
a bunch.
The Ula is the ultimate people, so the Ula is the Gemati people. Ula, he said maybe, there's no greater people, but there's also this ultimate people being brought to Hashem. There's no more emes of Bito than Ula. Ula Yavati. Ula Yamanti, Ula is Bitu Hashem, there is a time we say in the people of Rafsani, and one of them. The Ula is Elul backwards. Ula Yamanti, it also has 4 dots on the top. Whenever a word has dots on the top, it's soft. It's Mitzi from the trap. This word Ula Yamanti, there is Bitu Hashem, there is a Chaim. Eretz Chaim, Kavi El Hashem, Chavi Yom Mitzvah, Kavi El Hashem. Not the Kavi El Hashem, Chavi Yom Mitzvah. It's Ulai, every time. No Chamo. Kavi El Hashem, Chavi Yom Mitzvah, Kavi El Hashem. Where does that come, that power of Kivi Hashem, Yachivu Keach? Kavi El Hashem, Chavi Yom Mitzvah, Kavi Hashem, that comes from the Ulai Yamanti. It's also a Derech Ulai. The 4 gods, that's also, the room is in also of the Elul that we talked about before, on Milah Deji, the Deji. The initial letters are Elul, the Rosh Tevis. The last letters, the Sofi Tevis, are 4 gods, 4 Yuds. Hasidus says that the 4 Yuds are the 40 days of Tshuva, from Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur. And another hint is that those 4 dots, the safety tables, those are the dots on top of the word Lule. Also the 4 dots on top of the 4 letters Lule, but the letters are Lule, which is Elul backwards. And the 4 dots on the top are the safety tables that go into the daily. And just to explain a little bit more what we said before about these different levels. Mario said it refers to the sheet of it, if you want to know, that's a good interpretation. Originally they're all monthly. It's like a nation everybody together. The sharp sheet of the. And then, what's the problem? The problem is that if you start the first going on your own, that's feels like it. And then afterwards comes the tikkun, which is given you in Mary's mind. That's a very good way to understand what this is all about. The first level is still, according to what we said, is still now the B'chinas Art, the level of art, there's no cave in the front. What I want to try to get at is, well, how can we understand our new baby at that level? We thought at the level of art, and we thought the B'chinas Chod of art, which we shared today. So one of the meanings of Kli is that Kli itself is like the word Kalo. Kalo comes from place of nefesh, passion. To have a Kli is to have tshuva, yishtektus. In order that the Kli should be able to receive light, there has to be bittul, like we said in Talmud. There's nothing which is massive. There has to be a Kli reikum. In order to receive light, it has to have a hole in it, it has to have a void, which is bittul. That bittul, which is making the void, that's the union of ulay that we're talking. The definition of a Kli is 2 things to be a Kli. A Kli is a vessel that can receive light. First of all, it has to be hollow. It's a pshute Kliyas. It's straight, it's substance, it's matter, but it doesn't have a base keyboard. It can't receive. So the ability to receive, that's the vacuum in the Kli, that's the ulay. That's the ayin, the unknown. What is Ulai? Ulai means there's something that is unknown. Reishis Leis Yadu. It's kind of the highest level. The Kol of Rachim is called Reishis Leis Yadu, the unknowable head. That's what Ulai means. That's very interesting that the same word Ulai in the Torah, the same root means Avlo. These two Targum, usually Targum Yenis and Targum Yerushalmi go together. So sometimes Targum Yerushalmi is different from Targum Yenis. In general, it's the same thing. Targum Onkelos is always something else. In general, Targum Yerushalmi is the same as Targum Yenis. It's just sometimes it's a different Gilsa. So like in the first word of the Torah, there's a different Gilsa. And what's interesting is when the two words are actually Targum Yerushalmi, they're actually two opposites. The Targum Yenis and Targum Yerushalmi says B'chuchma, wisdom. The same word means Avlo. Of Targum Yenisam, which means Ulai, also means Ivelis, it means foolishness. The same root, which means maybe, in Hebrew, is the same root for Evil, which is a fool. As it says in Sefer Yetzirah. In Sefer Yetzirah says, Tmuros Chochma Ivelis. Everything has an opposite. So in Sefer Yetzirah itself says that the first opposites of creation, Sefer Yetzirah is talking about creation. The first two opposites of the creation are wisdom and foolishness. And it's mamash, the two words of the two Targumim. If one Targum says that he created the world through V'chot V'chuchma, and the other says Minavlo. Minavlo is mamash from the word Yivelis, Avil, which is the Tmuro, the very opposite. What does it mean? It's like Lulei He'amati. Amun is also Peti Yam in the Chodov. There's a foolishness. The Hime Seisi Imo. The Sinin of Ulai also, what's that Jew? Like he said, that Jew in Tel Aviv is not religious. Nonetheless, he says, maybe Hashem has recht. Maybe Hashem is right. Maybe I should have davened this morning. Why didn't he daven? So according to Tani, he didn't daven because he was a bit of shtus, because he was a fool. He was dreaming. He wasn't in reality. The famous Torah of the Alter Rebbe, in Torah it says that a dream which is not real has a root in a dream which is the Malam Mitzvah. Two types of dreams. It says when Mashiach came, will be like dreamers. All of the knowledge, like all the foolishness, the mamish foolishness of this world, the shtus, the real shtus that makes a person do averas. That's the unreal dream. As it says in Torah that unreal dream has a root in a dream which is above wisdom, which is the Malam Mitzvah. That's ruach shtus, which makes him do the avera. That itself has a root in the ulai of the kedusha, which is also ivelis, which is the petty yam and the holdover of the kedusha. The famous mimer of the Tzemach Tzedek. The Tzemach Tzedek says that in Emunah there are two dimensions of Emunah. One is Nikolim Divrei Emes, that Yid has a chus to their head to identify truth, even if he can't comprehend it intellectually, but he identifies it. That's true, that's false. The Torah is true, the gurus are lie. And the chush is neshama. That's called Nikolim Divrei Emes. But there's something else in the neshama which is called Peti Yam in the Chodov. He explains like this, that after the person makes the initial abchonah, the initial discern and separation between what his chush tells him that this is right and that's wrong, immediately afterwards he has to, in relation to that thing which he was told is right, which his own chush said that this is right, he has to now be like a fool. He got to be that thing. It's Peti Yam in the Chodova. Behime so you see imov, with you. But after he identified that this is you, this is Hashem, if he's a behemoth or a chatir, an animal, he can be an animal in the streets. But after he's identified Hashem, then it's behemoth so you see imov, I'm an animal with you. Het yamin l'chol dover l'gabi the emunah amitis, it already is kush tolem, Nikolim divrei emes. He brings a simple example that a person, this is very shy to Bali Tshuva, but many people get the sense, the original sense that the Torah is emes. Torah is true. But then when he starts reading Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, they're convinced it. Because he doesn't see what's all these things first you put on the right shoe and then the left shoe and then you tie the left shoe, what's going on here? So this is a minor of the Tzemach Tzedek. He explains that the initial sense of the truth, which is called Nikolim Divrei Emes, that's a cloud. You have a sense that the Torah as a whole is true. But then when you come to see that halacha in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, that you don't understand what it's all about, and what it's relevant to you, then it has to be Peti Yamin L'Cholah. That's what it says. First, there has to be a chush, which is called Nikolim Divrei Emes. And then, if you have problems, if you have status, you have to be Peti Yamin L'Cholah. And so that Peti Yamin L'Cholah, which is Behemoth or Yisi Yimot, Mavega Behemoth, Yimot, with you, that's the Olus Merud in the Beit Mater that we're talking about. That's the Ulai, that's the Ruach Shtut, the Behemoth, which is higher than the Tam Das and all the Chokhmah and Bina and Das of the world of people. And that's really the origin, once more, the origin of that dream. When the person in the street is dreaming a dream of Klipa. That dream itself has an origin in the Eres Merubim of Teo. It's called the Peti Yamin L'Cholah. That's why he can say to himself in Chapsir, and say and think, maybe I should have done the other maybe. So once more, this is also not to explain that in a Kli, the Rekonos, the vessel, the fact that the vessel is inside is hollow, that's a Pita, which is Ula. That's coming from a place which is higher than the lights of people. There's another thing that a Kli has, it has substance. The Kli is mamosh, has substance which is mamosh, which is movable. The substance of the Kli, that's the truth of the Kli, which is the motion place on earth. Once more, a Kli, in order to be a Kli, there have to be two properties of the Kli. One property is that it has to have a base skibel, which is nothing inside. Kli reikon machzi, Kli moli einu machzi. That property of reikonos inside, that's the ulai, the Kli, which is coming from the highest level. Shem ban, the gemati behemos, shivitni atzimsu, shivitni atipa. The other thing is it has to have mamoshes, it has to have substance. What's the substance of the Kli? The substance of the chuko of the Kli. The Kli miloshin kleis hanefesh, it has to have kleis hanefesh, chuko, passion and longing for the light, the good. That's the chomer of the Kli itself. So once more, this also explains that the process of the creation of the world is creating kelim. First there's just the lights without kelim, and then there's one big Kli for all the lights, and each light has a particular Kli that's small, and the light breaks through the Kli. Then there's the kelim of the Merubim of people. But the ultimate tikkun is to bring the Eres Merubim, and even what's before Teo, had oriented into those kelim Merubim of people. And what does it mean as far as Ani the daily V? So the simple pshat of Ani the daily V is passion. If the Kava has passion, once more passion, in order to be Kedusha has to have in it Bittul. Passion and Bittul. If passion doesn't have Bittul inside, which is Bittul, once more Bittul, Bimati Ulai. This Bittul itself is Bimati Ulai. Ulai, that's the Mokra to be Mamshir Rachmin. Ulai Yerachim. So if it doesn't have in it Bittul, it's not a Kli, it can't be Mamshir anything. So the simple pshat of Ani the Devi is that the Kava plays on that which has passion. Each of our neshamas is the Kava. Hashem has passion for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What can be Ani the Devi be at the level of Ak, if there's no kelim? No kelim means no passion. What can it mean Ani l'deidi li is Elul. Especially then afterwards we'll explain what the Hod, what the Inner Hod is. And there are many psukim in the Torah that say Hasidus that you read it two ways. This is the concept of Yahavtus Hashem Elokecha. You should love HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So it says in Hasidus there are two ways you can read the Torah. You can either read it as a commandment, you shall love Hashem. That's the pshat. You're commanded to arouse passion for Hashem. Or you can read it as a haftorah, it says. That's it. You read it as a promise, it's a fact, a statement. You have to Hashem, you shall, or you will eventually love Hashem. That's what's going to happen. I'm creating the world, and you will love Hashem. It's called a statement, it's stating a fact, which is called a promise, Lashon Haftorah. You have to Hashem again. So here also, even in the state of love, the greatest love and devotion between the husband and the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and plus the husband and the HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Am Yisrael. At the level of Ak, there's no actually two figures at the level of Ak. There's no male and female narcissist. It's all absolutely one. So that level, Anila Dodili, is stating a fact. It's like you say, I am to my beloved and my love to me. Without turning on any lights at all. And any passion is actually a plea, it's not the light. It's just a truth, what you would say an axiomatic truth. Anila Dodili. This is the way it is. This is the truth. That I am to my beloved and my beloved is to me. He explained that the Dodi, all of Shir Hashirim, the beloved is called HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's called Dodi. From the word Dod. And Dod also is the name of David HaMelech. Hashem said that the Golos is because we lost faith. The Gemara says that the Golos comes because we lost faith in David HaMelech. Not only in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in David HaMelech, not in faith of it. In the Keter Shem Tov, Hashem explains that means we lost faith in Hashkafa Pratis. Explains Barichos. Not the space David means Hashkafa Pratis. In order to bring back in the David, which is in order to go out of the Golos, you have to bring back David. That's believing in Hashkafa Pratis. So here also, Anila Dodi, referring to HaKadosh Baruch Hu as my beloved, is referring to that madrego of faith. Really, has faith in the ultimate Hashkafa Pratis, that this is the ultimate truth and this is what's going to be. So that's Bichlal, the Inyan of Anila Dodi, the Dodi at the level of Ak. Because everything at the level of Ak is called Kulom Niskorim Niskiruachas. The level of Ak, of Odom Kadmon, is a state of mentality, a state of soul, that the whole world is seen simultaneously. And that whatever is going to be already is. It's all seen at once. Kulom Niskorim Niskiruachas means that everything, any truth is there, is already here. And therefore there doesn't have to, what's a Kli? A Kli is already a beginning of time. If a person has passion for something, a Kli is passion, means that the passion has to be fulfilled. Fulfillment, like in the word English, to be fulfilled is to fill. And something is lacking fulfillment, and it has to be fulfilled. So that fulfillment, that search for fulfillment, that's a Kli. The Kli has to be fulfilled, it has to be filled. But at the level of Ak, there's no caving, there's no fulfillment, because everything is automatically fulfilled. Everything is Kulam Niskorim Niskiruachas. Once more, Anila Dodi is an absolute truth. That I am to my Dod, and my Dod is to me, and once more, Dod has especially the meaning of the promise, Hashkocha Pratis, like in the Torah of Ishbitz, that everything is for the good. Even Averos, the Shidov said that even the lost Gedol and Mashiach will come, all of the Averos of Am Yisrael will be seen in the light of good. That light, that revelation, that's the revelation of Ak. I'm putting this Kitzenius in here. The genius of the Anan of Ak is sees right now the state in every Jew of Anida Dodi Dodi. So you have to be able to walk the streets of Tel Aviv tomorrow and see that every single Jew, this is the whole of Ak, is right now at the level of Anida Dodi Dodi. At such a high state of Anida Dodi Dodi that it's not even necessary to have any passion. So it's already fulfilled. Passion is only if the fulfillment is not there. But if it's already fulfilled, then there's no need for passion. It's just a state, an absolute state of truth. I need an absolute state of vagueness, of clinging to Hashem, of being one with Hashem. I need to go deep. That's Bichlal Elul, that's Bichlal this whole idea of this week, the week of Av. And especially today, which is the day of Holy. And from that we have to connect it from what we said before. From that will come the light of Mashiach, the whole.
At the end of the table, so I'm sitting here at the end of the table. I'm sitting in the right place. So when Mashiach is coming, there'll be the restaurant in Yerushalayim will have a long table, and you'll be about sitting right here.
Says the Hasidus from the Modiin in this place is the to be connected to the Torah.
I say push the Torah not as high as you. I say like the Gemara says Adom and Modiin. Modiin the Bungel, yeah? Now the Gemara says Adom and Modiin, I'm getting annoyed, you know? Want to see what you bought, you know? I mentioned, someone says to me, I don't know if I bought just the house, I bought the whole moshav. Say, how much did you pay? Right? It was, let's say, $100,000 for the house. You paid $5 million for the whole moshav, right? But that's the expression Hadom Modiin. So always say Hadom Modiin. Modiin should have money, yeah? I heard that one Rebbe came to the Oliver Rebbe. It was a little bit minister Dichas to the old Moshe. Came to visit the Rebbe one time, was in North, was a bit sick. So the Rebbe was just finishing mine. So the Moshe Rebbe said to the Rebbe, what did you talk about? So yeah, I said I was talking about Tzimtzum Orishim. So the Moshe Rebbe says, Yid's Panos is stuck with Tzimtzum. I have to get rid of the Tzimtzum. And you gotta get rid of all this consuming.